Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Nerd On Update, where we talk about the nerdy news that excites us and answer questions from you, the listeners. We don't introduce ourselves, unlike Mr. Anthony Esteves did last week, but I will go ahead and start the news. And since you know this voice, you've been listening to this show since we started. I'm the DC boy, and I got some DC things to talk about, baby. Bad things. all delays for all the superhero film, comic book films that you love to root for, because you don't really have to root for the Marvel ones anymore because they're just happening. They're all successful. They're all gonna make money, but these ones have not yet found their limelight in the sky, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, so there's been a whole delay of the DCEU films. And if it wasn't more delayed to begin with, we recently just saw the Batman come out March 4th in 2020, so that's fine.
Successfully opening, just killing it.
Exactly. At the time of this recording, as of right now, the release date for the next DCEU film is the DC League of Super Pets, starring Mr. Steve's favorite boy of all time, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Kevin Hart. Playing Ace and Crypto. And then the next film will be starring also Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The Black Adam film, October 21st, 2022. And after that, Batgirl is slated for 2022, but we don't have a date yet, exact date. The current date right now is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom to be March 17th, 2023. On the website I'm looking at right now, it doesn't say anything for Shazam, which is weird because Shazam 2 is in December, the same week as Avatar 2. So it's kind of interesting. We'll see. And David F. Sandberg, the director of the film, who directed the first film, definitely made his own tweet about it, laughed, and saying like how Shazam 2 is trending with Avatar 2. And he was saying how the first film was a Christmas movie that was released in the summer, and this film is a summer movie released in December. And then the big one that I think has a lot of people kind of hemming and hawing about is The Flash, slated to release June 23rd, 2023, which is a whole year away. It was actually normally supposed to be slated for this year release. Yeah. And a lot of people have said so far publicly that it's just because of VFX. But a lot of people who are fans of the Snyderverse, myself included, we're wondering that if it's because the Discovery merger that is going to be finalized this week, March 18th, if that's going to change anything. Again, just quoting specific things. David Zaslav said that he was on phone calls for hours and for 2 weeks, calling 50 different people to try to bring talent back into it. There's also been rumor that the most recent cut of the Flash film, that Ben Affleck's Batman doesn't die. However, Michael Keaton's Batman still will serve as the primary Batman for the DCEU. So there's a lot of different things in the air. A lot of people are wanting, if we have a whole year for the Flash, that's enough time to bring in Henry Cavill to make a cameo, to bring him as Superman, Ray Fisher to come back, since he was always tied to the script in every version of the film. Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Lauren Cohen will be doing their Isle of the Dead show. So there's a lot of people who want them to come back as Thomas and Martha Wayne in a Flashpoint, thing. So who knows, really? We don't know what the future will hold. If anything, 2021 taught us is that anything could happen. Legitimately anything can happen. So even when the chips are down, got to stay faithful and hopeful. A lot of people like John Manganiello and Joe Manganiello, and certain key people who have been tied to the Snyder Cut have been showing different, like, hey, I'm bringing up this Snyderverse image and having Sam saying that there's a lot of news coming up, and it's like a lot of people are hoping for it. I hope for it too. In the DCEU, it's a multiverse, so it should leave doors open for everyone, and I mean everyone. Whether Ava DuVernay's Darkseid conflicted with Zack Snyder's version, it doesn't matter. It's a multiverse. They should all be allowed to exist. Everyone should be allowed to have fun and enjoy those things. And the last bit of news that I'm going to bring up, which is a little bit more of a dour note, it's going to be a little bit dour note for a while until Esteves can bring it back up hopefully at the end. And this is a news topic that Josh wanted to bring in. But since he's out of the country, I'll talk about it briefly. Everyone kind of knows that some things are happening overseas. Probably, you've heard things like Russia and Ukraine.
Something like that.
I'll let you all go ahead and look that up, but it's just more and more services are not continuing to be working in Russia in solidarity for Ukraine, such as PlayStation Network, Netflix. Even films are not releasing, like the Batman did not release in Russia. And I'll anything I have confidence to say is I just feel really bad for the citizens of Russia who have to kind of be like, at the whims of our leaders, we are losing literally all connection to the rest of the world. I'm not saying the world is only about movies and stuff like that, but it's just like everything. And if you want to go into the full in depth of it all, I'd recommend doing your own research about that. Just kind of looking up NATO versus Russia, because NATO is being like, okay, everyone is stopping, and I mean Disney too. So it's like all these giant companies are just pulling all the resources away from Russia, and I think it's kind of nice to see the solidarity happen with Ukraine, but to go into the major politics of how much that will affect the people of Russia, not the soldiers and not the government. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But that is all the news I have. Mr. Esteves, please take it away.
To carry on with that, credit to McDonald's, who closed up all their shops in Russia, but are still continuing to pay all the employees who worked at those McDonald's. So kind of a way of hurting Russia's economy, but not making those specific people suffer by still giving them a paycheck. So there's something, I guess. Something there. And now comes the dark emotional hour from me, because I'm going to cover two people that we lost over this past weekend, including today. First off, in the film industry and television as well, I think he did some TV as well, the great William Hurt passed away yesterday at the age of 71, a legendary actor. The guy's been around in the business since the 80s, at least the 80s. Well known for his roles in The Big Chill, which was a phenomenal comedy drama from the 80s with Jeff Goldblum, Kevin Kline, Glenn Close. Like everybody who was big in the 80s was in that movie. And it was just one of those just fun, relaxed movies that you want to see these actors act. And he was in there. He was also in Body Heat, Kiss of the Spider-Woman. He was in Broadcast News, a comedy drama romance. And one of his roles that stood out to me that was he didn't have the biggest part in, but he stood out when he appeared, was A History of Violence with Viggo Mortensen.
Mm-hmm.
Great role that he had in that. He was also in The Village, in M. Night Shyamalan's The Village.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, lately in the realm of my brethren and family over the Capeless Crusaders, he has been quite a figure in the MCU as
Thunderbolt.
Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. And now here's where I cough. Allergies, man. Allergies. But he appeared as Ross in Incredible Hulk, popped up again in Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, and Black Widow. So he will be missed. He was a fantastic figure in the film industry. Forgive me for the coffee. We're live. We are live.
We are live. We are
everything.
Live at the time.
Live at the time.
As you guys would normally say it.
So it's going to be, the film industry is down one great figure.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see what they do MCU-wise without him.
Yeah, it's rough.
And now to my next bit of sad news, which just came out a couple hours ago. On Sunday morning, Kevin Nash, former WWE legend, professional wrestling legend, he was in both WWE and WCW, had put out on his Instagram that his good friend, Scott Hall, a legend in the business, had suffered 3 heart attacks and was now on life support. And went on to say that once the family had assembled, Scott Hall would be taken off of life support And that happened literally a couple of hours ago today. Scott Hall, formerly known as Razor Ramon back in the 90s in WWE, was a fantastic character. He was basically a Tony Montana type. And what he did, boy, this
was not coughing during his fights.
Facts. Those of you just listening, I apologize for the sounds you were hearing right now.
Yeah. His age is catching up with him. I'm kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kidding.
Mm-hmm. Old man Esteves. But the guy made being a bad guy cool. You wanted to cheer for him. His catchphrase was say hello to the bad guy. When he and Kevin Nash left WWE, they went on to WCW, and they started the wrestling revolution by forming the NWO over at WCW. They were a phenomenal group. Scott Hall was phenomenal. He had his demons. He fought drug addiction. He fought alcoholism. He won those battles and was clean for many, many years. So he at least has that victory he has over those addictions. And you would not have the revolution in the 90s without Scott Hall and Kevin Nash together. This is half allergies, half emotional right now. But Scott Hall is an icon in the business. He and Shawn Michaels brought the ladder match to the WWE at WrestleMania 10, one of the greatest ladder matches ever done. He just personified coolness, machismo, as the Razor Ramon character would say. And he would go on to say,
no, he didn't say that.
that bad times don't last, but bad guys do. And those were great words he uttered at his Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And they've been shared all day today. And it's a sad day. It's a somber day. It's, I remember watching Razor when I was still watching it as a young kid. And I came back to it, and he was still making waves in the business. That's under his name, Scott Hall, in WCW. That you wouldn't have the NWO without him. You wouldn't have then DX and WWE without him, because all that originated from the original clique: Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and X-Pac. They were the clique that thought up everything you saw in the mid-90s and the late 90s. So a big name we lost in the wrestling industry. And man, it is a desert in my throat.
Dune is wetter than your throat.
Yes. They have more spices.
Yeah.
So as I get through those sad moments of us losing William Hurt and the great Scott Hall, at least I can say this: I saw Turning Red over the weekend, the new Disney Pixar film on Disney Plus. Thoroughly enjoyed it. A coming-of-age story for a teenage girl. Turning Red, of course, has kind of double meaning to it in this movie, about a girl's coming-of-age story, hitting her period, as well as blending with the Chinese culture and the way her family is brought up. And it was a fantastic tale of a child trying to find her path, who's controlled by her mother, and everything in between. And there's some great shout outs to the boy bands of the early 2000s. There are so many hints of anime throughout the entire movie that is phenomenal. Like, it just blends in very well. It's just from the certain eye changes, you're like, oh, I know it. I know what that is. I know what you're doing. It was just really fun. It really was a good time. My boys loved it. We loved it. We've seen it twice already. So if you're looking for a positive note throughout the sadness of losing figures this weekend in both film and wrestling, Turning Red is on Disney Plus. You should go check it out and watch it.
Yeah, we can have some nice things in the world. Is that all your news?
Boy, my throat is making it towards my feel. I did see also The Atom Project.
Okay.
With the Ryan Reynolds film on Netflix. Excuse me, the Deadpool, Hulk, Gamora film on Netflix, because they're all three in it. And the first Elektra, Jennifer Garner. Fun time. Good shout out to Back to the Future and E.T. and Ryan being Ryan, which I always enjoy. So Atom Project on Netflix was very fun.
Thank you for your movie recommendations. Now,
welcome.
we'll move on to the next part of the show, everyone, where we answer questions from you, the people.
And we force the Steves to talk for half an hour straight.
Yes. And if you are listening right now and you're brand spanking new to Nerd On, you're like, how do I get my questions up there? Because you sound just like that. I do perfect pantomime. I'm a great actor. I'm the greatest actor in the entire universe. Then you can go to nerdon.tv/questions and submit your questions there. But our favorite way, particularly Josh's favorite way, is if you join the Nerd On Nation through nerdon.tv/Patreon, you get a little fast pass. You get pushed a little forward. And you can also join our Discord, which is open to everyone, and then ask questions through there. But if you want to get your questions on the show faster, join that Nerd On Nation at nerdon.tv/Patreon. Join the Discord at nerdon.nation, nerdon.tv/Discord. I always try to just blast through that as fast as possible because it sounds like like a radio ad and all that stuff, and then you got to just repeat it multiple times. And I'm going to say at the end of the show, anyways, but. If you were on any of those things, you could ask questions such as Jeremy M. Shout out. You asked this question of what is an invention that does not exist that you would like to see exist?
Ooh.
I mean, yeah, why not? Because I'm not gonna try to break this question, and I don't want any inventions that will like destroy things that could possibly like time machine. Then someone gets it and then like kills everybody that's good in the universe, and then we're just branching, multiverses, or
the Adam Project.
Yeah. Anyways, or I don't want like I don't know. So this is my very benign answer. Smell-o-vision. So in films, in TV, you could smell what's happening in the film. Should the filmmakers want you to smell it? So if like you see cooking scenes, you smell that stuff. You know what I'm saying? If it's like a misty forest, you smell that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's a smell-o-vision to go along with film because I just want one more sense to be activated while I'm watching a film, and I don't want to go to a 4D theater where they're shaking me around like I'm a child and then spraying water in my face.
Imagine watching the movie Chef.
Yeah, imagine a movie where the director knew about food before.
Here it comes. Can't let the Favreau comment go without mocking Favreau.
Oh man.
He's getting paid. Anyway. Teleportation. That'd be mine.
Okay. Teleportation.
Teleport from one place to another without having to worry about how long it'll take or the flight or the drive, just from one spot to another.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's good. It's a good one. Next question will be from Brad. Which fictional world that features time travel would be the best to live in? And which would be the worst? It could be anything from The Flash to Terminator to Hot Tub Time Machine. Fictional world that has time travel. So you're not using the time travel, but it's just a world that has time travel. Because Terminator, you're in a post-apocalyptic robot.
Yeah, I know. That's one of my favorite franchises, but that's not a nice place to be living in.
The Flash, you potentially are seeing multi-dimensional threats all the time. Go ahead.
You were gonna say it. Back to the Future. Because it's got a cool car.
Yeah,
cool car that is a time machine.
Yeah, the power of love. You listen to this?
Power of love.
I would say Hot Tub Time Machine, and honestly,
Nice.
would be the best. Only reason this. So there's a two-part to this question. Which would be the worst? The worst is Terminator. Terminator all day. Humans lost.
Yeah, hands down.
And even in some iterations, the humans lose more because even spoilers, everyone. I'm going to spoil the fifth Terminator movie.
Spoiler.
John Connor turns to a robot. You're like, oh, we even lose there.
What?
But then, and I was thinking, oh, Back to the Future is kind of nice, but also, I don't know if people who look like me would be treated well. So I don't know. Hot Tub Time Machine, it's closer to my time, so it's like, okay, it could be okay. What do you think is the worst, Steve?
Oh, it's Terminator.
Okay, it's Terminator.
If it's the future where Judgment Day happens, which so far it seems like it happens no matter what, that'd be the worst. I love the movies; they're my favorite franchise. But one of my favorite sci-fi franchises, but I don't want to be in that world. No.
Next question, which is the last question in our pre-selected questions. If you have questions or you're in the chat, please submit them now. This one comes from Dr. Wonka, and I'm hoping I'm pretty sure we haven't answered this one, and it wasn't on the one that I wasn't on. But what's something you grew up doing that you thought was completely normal, but when you got out in the world, realized no one else does it? For instance, I always made my PB&J sandwiches with peanut butter, jelly, and butter. Didn't realize it was unusual until I started dating my wife. Also, if you haven't tried it, make them that way. I strongly suggest it. Something you thought was normal, but actually you find out that no one ever does.
Interesting. I'm trying to think very deep on this one. What did I do that I thought was normal?
Something I thought I did weird that I thought was normal. I mean, this is the thing that I like. This happens with Asian people. I feel like a lot of times, like we do things and then we get made fun of, and then other people like it later on. Like I think. I mean, most Asian foods, it smells weird, and now they're all like hot trendy things. But one thing particular that I always felt was weird as a kid growing up, and I knew it was weird as I was growing up, but then now as an adult, it's like apparently it's normal, is mayo chup, which was you combine mayo and ketchup, and we used to use it as like condiments for like our hot dogs and burgers and stuff like that. And then as a kid, I think I for sure was like, oh my God, like I knew I was like, oh, this is normal for me, but I know it's weird for everyone else. And I don't know if there's anything else that I did that was weird or that was not normal, that I considered normal until I saw the real world. Oh, you know what? Okay, maybe this is a weird thing. I like to eat my sandwich. I like to eat all the crust around it, and then eat the actual sandwich. Yeah, because we're babies. Is this Tom? Is this Thomas?
No, Jackson actually. Jackson does that.
Okay. Yeah, because we're babies. Because we're and we want to save the best for last, and so we eat the crust, and so that's that. You, Steve, you got one?
I think the only one I can think of, and it wasn't even my choice. My grandmother lived with us, and she hated cold. Like even water had to be like lukewarm. It couldn't be cold.
Okay.
And so when I would have cereal, she'd put the milk in the bowl first and heat up the milk.
Ooh.
And then I'd pour the cereal in, and I had warm milk because of this fear my grandmother had of cold things. And it wasn't until like I realized everyone at school, when they had breakfast at school, they were having cold milk. I'm like, cold milk? Huh. I'm going to try that one time. I'm going to beat my grandma to the bowl and put in cold milk with cereal. And then I was changed forever. I could never, ever imagine having warm milk with cereal now. But that's how I started out, thanks to grandma's fear, because cold things meant it would hurt you. When you're an old lady from an island off the coast of Portugal, you'll believe weird things sometimes. And that was one of them. And those islands were cold at night too. So I don't know how she thought she survived, but there it is.
She wanted some things warm. Those islands were cold, and so this is the thing that she could control. She can control the temperature of these liquids that she would have to partake in.
Warm milk cereal.
Warm milk cereal. It's just oatmeal. This is oatmeal. If you go to if you go to the grocery store, it says this is hot cereal. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So that is all of those questions we pre-selected, and questions we can choose from the chat. I'm going to go ahead and find them right now. Again, if you want to add your questions and have your questions, read out, and we can answer them on the show, be part of the show pretty much. Check out our, streams on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but also throw them into our Discord at nerdon.tv/Discord or join that Nerd On Nation. But the first,
I gotta mention T-Dog.
Yes.
This is a very Portuguese thing too. And this comment was, mine was, we just walked into our family's houses without knocking or letting them know we're coming over. That is a big thing with Portuguese. If it's family or very close family friends, you don't let them know you're coming. You just hear a knock at the door and a ooh, and it's a visit, and that's expected. So
Ooh.
this is what, yeah, and this is why Portuguese moms, stereotypically, spent so much time cleaning the house because
Because
you never knew when a visitor was
they're
coming in the
not
room.
ready.
They're not ready. So, and it was very common. So I feel you, T Dog, on that one. That is also something the Portuguese.
Okay.
Very, very, very strong in our culture.
I have no Asian thing that I could think of like that was something we did, and I realized no. I mean, took off our shoes, but I knew I was like, oh, the Asian people do that stuff. So I mean, like, um, yeah, no, I have none. I have none of those things. But I will ask us some questions from the chat. Let's do this
Yes.
first question. This is from T Dog 8282. Which is better, cake or ice cream? I'm going to break the question. I'm going to break the question, but we can still answer it. I'm going to break the question.
Okay.
Whatever you want. And then the second way I break it, ice cream cake is really good. But my answer, my true answer is probably I like ice cream more than I like cake. I think ice cream is just a little bit more delectable, and it is a little bit more. You can have it on different occasions. Where cake is just a very like also depends what kind of cake. Cheesecake, tres leches, it depends. Yeah, I prefer an ice cream. Steve?
They're a great combo on birthday. So when you have cake and ice cream together, it's fantastic. When they mix and they blend, it's fantastic. But I'm with you on that one because cake is for a special occasion. Ice cream you can have whenever. Best part of the cake is the frosting. So, I mean, but the best part of ice cream is everything in the ice cream. So I'm gonna go with you on that one. Ice cream. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with this next one. Let's bring up. Okay, this might be fun. This might be fun. I like this. And Steve, I don't know if you can answer this question. I don't know if anyone would impede on you. This is from Bad Reprint. Question relating to Batman. In a press interview, Robert Pattinson was talking about Final Fantasy VII, and Zoe Kravitz was not having it. What was the most memorable time you let your nerd flag fly and someone shot it down?
Anytime I bring up wrestling.
So who shoots it down?
It's more of a comical shoot down. Like if I find out someone like at my wife's work and we're at a
someone speaking the true.
Yeah, it's speaking the true. Like at the Christmas party or what have you, and when they bring up that they watched something recently, and then I totally go into, oh, what'd you watch? You know what that means? You know what this was? You know who that guy is? He did this back then, and then he came over here, and you can just see my wife going, oh my God, okay. It just glazes over her face, like, here we go, it's happening. We're going into the wrestling world, and I'll see the face and be like, I'll pump the brakes. I'll pump the brakes a little bit. Let me just back up a little bit. I'll back up a little bit here. Usually it happens with people I never expect to be wrestling fans, like Caitlin being one who surprised me that one time years ago. So it's those moments where I just jump into it. Like, oh my God, you're a wrestling fan? Oh my God, really? What did you watch? Goes from there.
I'm going to address something in the chat. T-Dog says that this question might have been asked already, and I was like, might have been, might have not been. I'm just going to say I'm going to answer it just for the sake because we asked the question. And you know what? Maybe some people didn't catch last week. So I'm going to say, when has it ever gotten shot down? I don't. I mean, this is probably back in high school. Last time I ever got shot. I don't know. I feel like I've actually hidden it. I've hidden it very well. And then now as an adult, I really let it fly. And typically the only person that would ever have anything to say, oh, you know what? Okay, this is actually it. During work, sometimes I'll play some card games or something like that. And then my boss will come by and like my boss. And he'd be like, oh, all these losers out here. Then I was like, hey man, these are the largest franchises in the entire world. They make a lot more money than the company we work for. But most of the time, honestly, like if it comes of like, the fragile straight male things of like, oh, what about girls and dating? Hasn't been a problem since maybe junior high. And then in high school and college and all that stuff, people just like the fact that I like something. I think being passionate about something is probably something that a lot of people find attractive. And if you can actually talk about it in a way where it's like, it's to me, it's the balance that like the extreme religious people don't have, where it's like you ruin it for everybody. Religion can be cool for our people, but when you start ramming it down people's throats who said no thank you, then it becomes a problem. But with all things, wrestling, comic books, video games, trading cards, it's like if you like it and you want to talk about it and you can share that stuff, you're not forcing it upon people, but if you have a way to make it a conversation, then it's always fun. But we'll speed along and try to get some questions that hopefully we didn't ask. This one comes from Black Diablo Mamba. Question: if someone decided to give you $2,000, but you had to do something crazy to get it, what would be the limitation? Note this may or may not happen, but it's a possibility. So at my work, we call this the dignity game. So we would say like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna be so crude. Tongue punch Henry Cavill's butthole once a week, $50,000 for a month. Depending on who you ask, some people say they'll do it for free, and people like me were like, $50,000 once 4 times. That's 4 times.
A showered Henry Cavill or not?
No, after he
Henry
worked
Cavill?
out and had his protein.
Oh, okay. That's you
And I was like, oh, dude, he's a big man. He's a really big man. But no, so $2,000. What is something you would do? But this would be the limit of like what you're willing to do.
Even porn has hygiene standards. Come on. What would I do? I wouldn't want to for $2K. I'm not looking to hurt anybody. You know, I'm looking to do like no pain toward anyone. I mean, if it's someone I don't like, it's got to be a higher payday.
How about 3 minutes of playtime with The Rock in a cage?
Oh yeah, I'd wrestle.
Okay, so that sounds too easy. That sounds too easy. So
I would joyfully lose to The Rock at WrestleMania.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
Okay. What about watch? You can't interrupt a conversation between Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro.
Oh.
For 3 hours.
Oh.
And you can't interrupt. You just have to watch.
Am I allowed to seek vengeance after the 3 hours?
No, you just have to let them speak their minds.
I think I would eventually. I think I could. I would. I'd be just biting onto a stick and like having voodoo dolls of them. I don't know. But yeah. I would. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Joe Pesci over here. I would have that fear of going through what Bucky went through in Civil War every time the code was being read to him. That would be me in the chair for those 3 hours trying to fight the Tucker and the Ben debate and circle jerk, whatever they do. Yeah, I would do it. And I think I'd survive. There'd be tears probably.
I think for 2K, what would I do that's crazy enough? That sounds like it's the limit. That would be the exact limit of my. Okay, I'll do this for 2K. I would. I would maybe, because I've done stupid shit before. Like I've drank a gallon of milk. I've eaten a ghost chili pepper.
Ooh.
But what would be the exact limit? I don't know. It's crazy to get it. 2K, $2,000. What's feasible for $2,000 that doesn't seem like, oh, I'm gonna, jump on a whole rack of tax or something like that.
It's not so bad. Let Esteves powerbomb you through 4 tables.
That's easy. Pain's easy. Pain,
The
physical pain.
Off the rafters.
Physical pain is just a temporary thing for me.
Okay. All right.
And I feel like I don't know. I'd have to do like maybe I would. I don't know. Either have. I don't know. I think it's something that has to involve my parents. It's something that involves my parents and be like, I have to explain every I don't know, every sexual relation I've ever had with my parents. I don't
Yeah,
know. There's
there
something.
it
There's
is.
something rough.
There it is.
I don't know exactly. That's tough. Like Mamba, when you watch this later on, and you listen to this, I definitely feel like how many fingers? Like how many fingers? What we lose for 2K or what's happening with these fingers?
Where are the fingers going?
I just need to
Hold
know.
on a second.
Yeah, before we go. Well, I'm gonna keep this one a little bit in the tab. I don't know. I'll erase this one right now just so we don't ask it in the future. But that was a TBH. I think we should put that in the Discord and continue the conversation there. But before we run out of time, let's go and ask another 2 more questions. So I have another one from T-Dog8282. Who do you miss more this week, Corey, Josh, or Caitlin?
Oh, wow. Why you gotta do that?
I miss Corey more. He hasn't been on the show the most, so it's like that's the only one. I mean, Caitlin was on last week, Josh was on last week, so I haven't had a chance to quote unquote miss them. But yeah, Corey, I'd say.
Yeah, it's Corey. It's new daddy Corey.
Yeah.
My best friend.
I rolled my eyes, everyone that's listening. I'm just yeah. Next question?
Next question?
Next question? Okay, I think this might be the last question. And we can make a little bit of a meal out of this.
Ooh,
this
delicious.
is from Ethan who? What
Ethan Hunt.
word do you think you say the most? Jabroni?
Bro.
Oh.
Bro.
Bro.
I say bro a lot. I'm a bro nerd, so bro is a word I say quite a bit. Listen, bro.
What
do you say, bro? What do you say? What would you say, bro?
I don't feel like I say a word particularly. I feel like I say...
What words, bro?
Maybe it's feel. Maybe it's I feel. Or it's yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm saying. That's a Tom.
Yeah, I mean.
That's a Tom catchphrase. That's a Tom catchphrase right there.
Yeah. Or you know what it is.
You know what it is.
You know what it is. It's one of those. It's a phrase. It's more of a phrase.
Trust a bro, Ethan. Who you know it? Trust a bro.
Trust a bro. You know.
Especially when they're a nerd.
Yeah, I mean, I say it this way: nerds. Look, I feel like good nerds is good for your health. Everyone listening, someone clip this and just this PSA, and Esteves, please join it. If you got a nerdy person in your life, they ain't gonna do any shady shit because the worst thing they could do is just talk too much about the shit that they love and try to get you involved in it.
Bingo.
That's it.
I proudly wear the title of bro nerd. That was put upon me one day when I wore a tank top, but that tank top was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle tank top. So therefore, the bro nerd word combination was formed. So I stand by that title.
Word. That, I think we'll go ahead and end the show tonight, y'all.
Tom, you did it, man.
Yeah, we did.
You did it.
Thank you, everyone, for swinging by everyone in the stream. Mr. Esteves for joining me again on the update. Everyone, let us know what you thought of the show. What were your thoughts of the news that we covered? What were your answers to some of the questions that we had? Continue the conversation at our Discord, nerdon.tv/Discord. If you like what you heard today, give us a review, like the button, do all the things that pleases all of the algorithm gods. It helps us out. It really does. Particularly joining that Nerd On Nation at nerdon.tv/Patreon. If you want to know more information of how you can help us with our affiliate links, with our merchandise website, check it all out at nerdon.tv. It's got everything there. It's our website. And that's where you can also check out more Anthony Esteves on the Capes Crusaders, a wonderful podcast. Give us a little plug on what that show is all about before we wrap up, Mr. Esteves.
On that show, we talk about everything in the comic book world, the comic books themselves, the TV and movies that they spawn, the writers, the artists, everyone involved in the comic book world itself. We talk about it, we read the comics, we discuss the comics, and we talk about what's new in the world of comics and everything tied to them. Also, real quick, I wanted to say, for those of you who are curious, because I got a lot of questions in the Discord after last episode, check out some Scott Hall stuff. The guy's a legend if you have access on YouTube, or if you do have access to Peacock, look up the Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels ladder match at WrestleMania 10. Honor a legend in the industry. That is Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon. Fantastic sports entertainment figure that should not be forgotten. And find some William Hurt movies. Check those movies out. The guy was a fantastic actor, a phenomenal actor. And, experience these two individuals who changed their industries.
Yes. But with that, everyone, thank you so much. Please check out our episodes on Thursdays. Take care of yourselves. And we'll catch you next time. You guys know the drill. As always, nerd on.
Nerd on.
Ending broadcast.